Tonight, the town of Roddickton Bide Arm is gearing up for an epic weekend of hockey. That story and
U.S. President Donald Trump is promising to put tariffs on Canadian exports tomorrow.
The impact can be severe, and we are taking this extremely serious.
It's not all doom and gloom. It was probably coming at some point anyway.
I'll have the details on how that will affect this province coming up.
Our team have been really looking at how they can be creative in terms of helping people come here.
And new conversations with the federal government have led to an updated number of how many immigrants the province can welcome.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Welcome to Here and Now. We begin south of the border. The White House is pushing forward with plans to impose tariffs, with officials saying tomorrow's deadline still stands. As Here and Now's Daryl Roberts reports, businesses across this province are grappling with the pressure and uncertainty that brings.
The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt didn't hold back. True to his promise, Donald Trump plans to make good on his threat to impose crippling tariffs on Canadian imports to the United States starting tomorrow. Leavitt says it's a consequence, that Canada isn't doing enough to stop deadly drugs from moving across the border, though officials say less than 1% of fentanyl or migrants entering the U.S. actually come from Canada. There's still no clarity on exemptions or how wide-ranging these tariffs could be, but workers and industries across Newfoundland and Labrador are already feeling the impact.
We've seen investments start to slow down. We see hiring starting to slow down. We've seen no layoffs at this point in time, but I can tell you that the impact can be severe, and we are taking this extremely serious.
Premier Andrew Furey convened an emergency roundtable of industry and labor leaders to craft a response to the threat. The Federation of Labor says it's already seeing a chilling effect.
It's going to have long-term consequences, not just for the 4 years that Donald Trump may be in office, but maybe beyond that.
The Premier has promised a buy local marketing campaign and is calling for a pandemic-style bailout package from Ottawa to support workers caught in the crosshairs. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has promised to levy retaliatory tariffs against the United States. With a push to buy Canadian, one St. John's-based tech company is already angling to fill the void. Additive XL uses 3D printing to create metal replacement parts for industries like oil, mining, and healthcare.
If things go south, then we're here to support having to produce locally, having to produce in Canada, things like that. So we're kind of sitting and watching, so to speak. And in terms of reaction, I think, we'll be part of the solution, and that's kind of our take on it. It's not all doom and gloom. It was probably coming at some point anyway. It was just a matter of how to react to it.
The White House is promising to deliver the details tomorrow, but if today's tone in Washington is any indication, the Canada-U.S. trade relationship is about to get even rockier. Daryl Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Yes, and Trump is now saying oil and gas will be included in those tariffs starting mid-February. Lots of uncertainty there. And for this province's fishery, our colleagues at Radio Canada broke down some numbers. Here's a visual to show the percentage of exports going south of the border province by province. While Ontario ships the most goods, it isn't the most vulnerable to tariffs. A whopping 92% of New Brunswick's exports are America-bound. That accounts for about $15.5 billion. And by comparison, Newfoundland and Labrador ships $4.6 billion worth of goods to the States. And that number accounts for nearly 37% of our total exports. Police are warning there could be a new deadly drug on the streets of St. John's. This week, tests confirmed the drug is a mixture of fentanyl and metadomidine. According to the RCMP, it's a lethal combination. Metadomidine is a highly potent tranquilizer that depresses the central nervous system. It's used by veterinarians in surgery. It was first discovered in late December when police arrested a 39-year-old man for drug trafficking. RCMPs say a number of drugs were seized from his vehicle, including cocaine, oxycodone, and this drug, as well as a sawed-off shotgun. Police believe more of this drug could be in circulation and is warning drug users to be vigilant and avoid consuming it. Well, in other news, it seems the province won't be taking as hard of a hit when it comes to immigration. Just 2 weeks ago, Ottawa announced it was cutting economic immigration spaces in half. This province's immigration minister said she was gobsmacked. Here Now's Elizabeth Whitten brings us an update.
It was positive news for the province's immigration minister after a change of heart on the federal level. A majority of Newfoundland and Labrador's allocation of immigrant workers has been restored.
We're not whole, but 83% is certainly better than 50%. So we're very pleased with this. I think this is the best we can do.
It means that just over 2,500 economic immigration spaces will be available to the province this year, down slightly from just over 3,000 last year. A relief for Studley after the number was slashed in half by the federal government earlier this month.
We will have to prioritize, but I think at 83%, that's pretty good. We will still be able to respond to key industry demands.
But it comes with a condition. The provincial government had to commit to taking in almost 300 refugees over the next 2 years. Studley says they are in Ontario and Quebec, speak English, have open work permits, and work in industries needed, like early childhood education and construction. Already, 100 people have voiced interest in coming, and the federal government will cover relocation costs.
The federal government has always told us that if we played ball on asylum seekers or humanitarian migrants, that we would get our number.
The province is now looking at potential partners to help settle those refugees, with a decision coming soon.
So we think that this could be a really interesting opportunity for rural and local businesses.
But even with numbers almost back to pre-2025 levels, Studley says any cuts still put the province in a tough spot. And so they're looking at alternative federal programs.
Our team have been really looking at how they can be creative in terms of helping people come here. Obviously, because we have a declining birth rate, this number will not be enough. We still need to do more.
Meanwhile, the province is putting a 2-week pause on any new economic immigration applications, including the provincial nominee program, to update the IT system to prioritize what applications they process first. Elizabeth Whitten, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, it's been 1 week since a collision in Placentia Bay involving a shuttle tanker that collided with an oil terminal jetty. As Terry Roberts reports, a critical link in the province's oil industry remains offline tonight, and companies are making contingency plans.
Since the late 1990s, a fleet of tankers have been continually shuttling crude oil from Newfoundland's offshore to a transshipment terminal in Placentia Bay, many billions of dollars worth. Larger tankers then arrive to collect the oil and deliver it to refineries elsewhere. But operations at the terminal have been suspended since January 22nd, when the tanker Altera Thule collided with the wharf. There was damage to the jetty, but there were no injuries and no pollutants were spilled. The company that operates Whiffen Head says it's carrying out inspections and has hired engineers to develop a repair plan. The company is not saying how long operations will be suspended, but it's threatening to interrupt one of this province's most important industries. So the oil companies that operate fields like Hibernia and Hebron are preparing a contingency. Instead of delivering to Whiffen Head, the plan is to conduct ship-to-ship transfers of oil. The companies say it's a proven method of transfer which has been used safely in Placentia Bay and around the world. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
We have to put a leg up for those who need access to public transit.
And that's why the province is investing in buses for Corner Brook and the St. Anthony area. $165,000 will go towards pilot programs in both towns to provide free monthly passes to low-income residents beginning in April. Those eligible include people on income support, young adults receiving youth services from the province, and seniors who avail of the Guaranteed Income Supplement. Well, when Roddickton Bide-Arm heard there was a last-minute cancellation on the NHL Legends of Hockey Tour, the town hustled to prepare for major players. This weekend, stars like Rich and Ron Sutter and Darian Hatcher will hit the ice for a sold-out game. Here now's Layla Baudouin is there and has this report.
Welcome to Roddickton Bide-Arm's Coach's Corner.
I'd like to be able to tune our team in like the old Boston Bruin team.
Retired wildlife officer Ray Norman is the man behind the bench for the Lumberjacks, the local team's tribute to the area's once prosperous logging industry. And he's looking to give the NHL Legends a run for their money.
Yes, I got strategy. And I'm just hoping that they're going to play the way that I want them to play.
Like 20-year-old Kylie Rousel, who flew home from Halifax to play just for this one game.
My pop played and coached and captained the team, and then my dad also played as well.
A proud moment for this hockey family, who, like many people on the Northern Peninsula, have strong hockey roots.
The Lumberjacks was a team that played here years and years ago, back in the day on the outdoor rink.
For fellow Lumberjacks player Danny Sims from St. Anthony, it's a dream come true to play the ex-pros on home ice, where he says a lot of great hockey was born.
And a lot of kids turn to sports and organized recreation activities, hockey being a huge one. From on the ponds to in the arenas, there is so much talent here that goes hidden that never get those opportunities to go away. It's really amazing to see.
But this weekend, it will have the spotlight when those big hockey players come to the eastern side of the Long Range Mountains to play a town and team that's ready for them.
Right? I'm very excited to meet some of these guys. I've talked to a couple of them already, but you know, my age, these are the guys I watch.
Game organizer Daryl Randall says he's especially looking forward to seeing two Canadian legends, the Sutter brothers, 2 of 6 sons in the family to play in the NHL, hailing from a small town themselves.
Sutter brothers, like Ron and Rich, are coming here. So they grew up in a little town, probably not much bigger than this one.
But it's not just the players who are looking forward to the match and the brothers.
A place for dreams.
I've always wanted to see professional players from the NHL.
10-year-old Jacob Bush is also looking forward to seeing Sutter brother Rich.
The player is Rich Sutter. He played on many teams in the NHL before he retired from 2 broken vertebrae in 19-something.
It's a big deal for these students at Cloud River Academy.
I play left wing. Super excited. I feel like it's going to be a great opportunity for the community.
Because they'll have a chance to see teachers Adam Gay and Travis Gellard lacing up to play the Legends.
Hockey has sort of died off a little bit here in the last decade, but I feel it's coming around now, and this has brought a lot of excitement.
I mean, years ago, it was the Lumberjacks were everything, and that's why we picked the name, sort of bring it back again, the Lumberjacks, and to see the level of excitement like the kids have already articulated here quite well earlier today is really good to see.
The Lumberjacks will lace up their skates this Saturday, playing a game they love. But playing against the hockey stars they grew up watching, that's a whole new level. Layla Baudouin, CBC News, Roddickton Bide-Arm.
You just go straight.
This is so fun.
You need to do a test for you can operate.
Yeah.
So when you're a licensed guy, you can only drive.
Drive enough to go get the ATM.
Drive enough to go get the ATM, that's it.
Well, it takes some real skill to steal an ATM, and you can trust us on that because we tried. That's still to come.
Well, the weather on the way, it is going to be cold again this weekend. We've certainly got some cold temperatures in place right now, sitting into the minus double digits in some cases. We've got some snow squalls happening on the west coast of the island as well. Those should end as we head through tonight. And then we do have some more snow moving in, mainly for southern areas and the Avalon. But Saturday at this point looking beautiful. Really, the weekend will be quiet across the board with some cooler temperatures still in play. But I will break it all down for you coming up in a few minutes.
The RNC has released some troubling numbers on how often they're called to hospitals in St. John's. Police officers made around 1,400 visits to the city's 3 hospitals last year. On average, that works out to nearly 4 calls a day. That's around double the calls they got in 2022 from the Health Sciences Centre in St. Clair's, and a rise of 200 calls from the Waterford Hospital. The RNC Media Relations Officer says calls for police assistance are also up in general.
Just like any part of the community, whether it be a school or other public space, these areas are samples of our community. And, although we have seen, a growth from year to year in calls for service at health facilities, certainly in the Northeast Avalon, the calls are, varied in call types, whether it be, mental health related. It could be an assistance to an agency such as the ambulance department. So it's not always criminal events. It could be, assistance rendered, or, a mediation that's required, or even sometimes it could be transportation or escort that's required in a case where a person is detained. So, it does vary in terms of call type, but again, it just goes to show that, police services, just like any other public service, when you have a sample of our population in a particular space, there will be an increase in this service.
Well, in recent weeks, police have also been called to more often to robberies where heavy machinery was used. And if you ever wondered just how easy it is to become a backhoe bandit, we might have the answer for you. The CBC's Jenna Head wanted to find out whether it's a crime of opportunity or expertise and got behind the wheel.
Hey, we're at the College of the North Atlantic in Placentia. We're going to figure out if it's easy or hard to operate a piece of heavy equipment. It doesn't have a backup camera.
No backup cameras. You got the mirrors. So, sit down.
Okay. Where's the key?
Key right here.
Okay.
Turn
Is this
over.
brake?
Nope, that's your gas. This is your key brake.
Okay.
Turn the key. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing as driving the standard car.
I haven't done that.
Oh, okay.
So I go down.
Yeah, and then you push up on that.
Yeah.
And you just go straight.
This is so fun. It's not as hard as I thought.
It's not the same thing as driving the car. It's pretty much the exact same concept. But like, you don't need to do a test where you can operate. So what your license you got, you can only drive.
Drive enough to go get the ATM.
Drive enough to go get the ATM, that's it. So that's pretty straight there, so put it on your brake.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. You go. Yeah, put the other one down.
This one?
Yeah, that's good. Be gentle with the joystick, then bring her down. Yeah.
Oh wow, so it's like super touchy.
So then when you turn this one to the side, yeah. So bring her down. It's going to be pretty hard to pick it off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it's not like just like anyone could take that in.
Yeah, pretty much just knock the machine at the building.
The bank is broken into now.
It's not just a matter of getting in, turning the key and driving around. It do take some finesse, as you found out earlier, to even be able to maneuver it around.
Wait, the wheels aren't straight. Okay. The people in Carbonear robbed the bank in 3 minutes. It took the police to show up and the thing was gone. That's pretty precise.
It is pretty precise. And again, I mean, I guess I really can't comment on their skill level, but to be there, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they took that for the nearby yard. So to bring that up, to open that up and then be gone in 3 minutes, there's definitely some experience there. It do take some finesse to do this.
Just like that, you got a couple $1,000 in your bank account.
A free vacation. Probably to run from the cops.
If I robbed banks, that's the first thing I'll be doing.
Well, after decades, the historic battery has a new baby. Meet Mackenzie Nickel, the new kid on the block who's creating quite the buzz. We'll be right back. All right, Ashley, the weekend is here. How are things shaping up?
Yep, finally. A little bit of a busy week as far as the weather goes. It looks like it'll quiet down, though, for the weekend, which is nice. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. Still dealing with some cold temperatures, though, especially up across Labrador. Some windy conditions as well for a good chunk of the island. We're still seeing some onshore flurries and snow squalls for the west coast. That will generally continue through this evening at least. And other than that, just a few flurries happening across the Avalon as well. But our temperatures are chilly. Wind chills feeling more like the minus teens right across the island, and then up across Labrador. Those wind chills are in the minus 20s and minus 30s, particularly Lab City, where you're sitting at minus 32 with that wind chill. So taking a look at what's going on right now, satellite radar-wise, not a whole lot. That area of low pressure that was leading to the strong winds for coastal areas of Labrador is pulling further away. Still seeing a wind warning, though, for the northern peninsula and the northern portion of Labrador as well. But other than that, we do have a few flurries for the Avalon right now, and then for the west coast as well. You still have some onshore flurries happening. Now, the conditions for that will basically deteriorate as we head through the night, so they should fall apart by the time we get into tomorrow morning. Then we've got this system to the south, or at least the flurries to the south. That should be our weather maker as we head through tonight. So there's those snow squall watches still in place. Like I said, I do anticipate these will end overnight. Northern Peninsula east under a wind warning, and then same thing for Nain. You should see your winds improve through either the next couple of hours or through the overnight. So as far as the future tracker goes for tonight, still looking at the flurry activity likely along southern areas of the island, particularly the Burin Peninsula and the Avalon as well. This will move through fairly quickly. Right now, it looks like it's a little bit too far south, so we'll see if we actually see those develop. But for now, anticipating that we'll see another potentially 5 to as much as 10 centimeters of snow for southern areas of the Avalon, and that will linger through the morning, especially for the southeast, again, depending on the track. But you see on the west coast, those flurries pretty much end as we head into the morning. And temperatures tonight are going to hang out in the minus teens for most of central and western portions of Newfoundland. Same thing up across Labrador, where your temperatures in Lab City anyway will be sitting around minus 29. But these temperatures here that you're seeing for eastern Newfoundland, so minus 5, that is going to be the coldest temperatures that we see, because they're actually going to warm up as we head into tomorrow morning with those winds, the temperatures likely between 0 to maybe +2 as we head towards the morning. But those winds are still going to be out of the southwest, somewhere between 40 to as much as 70 kilometers per hour. Now, wind chills, because our temperatures are going to be fairly cold tonight. Wind chills will also be fairly chilly, especially as we head into tomorrow morning, in the minus teens and minus 20s, and Labrador minus 30s and minus 40s through the morning hours. And then into the afternoon, temperatures dropping again across the island, and that is going to, although the winds won't be quite as strong as they were today, your wind chills will definitely still be into the minus teens. And then again, up across Labrador, minus 20s and minus 30s as your wind chills. The afternoon tomorrow looks beautiful. We should see that snow end. It'll be a beautiful day to enjoy the snow that has fallen across the island for your afternoon. Northern Peninsula should be beautiful with some sunshine, but we will see potentially a few onshore flurries develop for the west coast. Now, these aren't going to be squalls by any means, but you'll still likely see the chance of a few flurries. And then we'll see the southeastern portion of the island. Do we see a little bit more snow through the afternoon? And if we do, it could bring those the flurries or the amounts up a little higher through the afternoon. But like I said, somewhere between 2 to 5 centimeters. We could see pockets of a little higher than that, and that will be particularly in the southern areas of the Avalon through your Saturday. Tomorrow, temperatures will sit between -6 and -9, with the exception of the northern peninsula. But like I said, winds a little less than they have been, between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. And then across Labrador, beautiful day, cold, but beautiful, with temperatures in the -teens and -20s. I'll have your long-range forecast coming up a little later.
Thank you, Ashley. Well, Memorial University is marking its 100th anniversary this year. I spoke with Chancellor Earl Ludlow about the special milestone, and he shared his passion about MUN's history and talked about how the institution has shaped the province over the past century.
This is a living memorial for those that paid the sacrifice in the First World War and Second World War. This Book of Remembrance, for example, lists all the names of the First and Second World War. You don't forget. You will never forget. And that's where the word memorial comes in. 1925. We were, 6, 7 years post the First World War, when a whole generation of people were lost, and they were serving king and country at the time, and there were the ultimate sacrifice paid by a lot of people. A lot of people signed up and volunteered, didn't know where they were going or what they were doing. But you know, out of that came a group of people that came together that wanted to create a living memorial. And when the concept came together, it's time to put denominational education away for post-secondary. Hence, out of that came the concept of University College, or Memorial University. And it was about the future, because we needed education. We needed leaders and leader development within Newfoundland. The leaders in Newfoundland were being imported by other countries. The few that were able to get post-secondary education were the few in the elite. It wasn't open to the small towns and the small communities. So when they came together and did this and it opened, one of their first tasks, for example, in that, first year or two, was to create a mobile library where they packaged up trunks of books to ship out to the rural communities. Just think about that. We had schools with no books. We had teachers with no education. Well, then the Great Depression hit. The fishery was in collapse. The government changed. Withdrawal of funding that was in place for the university or the college. Piece I missed in the beginning is the funding originally came from the Carnegie Foundation. They stepped up again in the 1930s and helped us through because the funding from the government stopped.
So this was privately funded?
Yeah. So think about that. Then we got to the 40s. I think we were up to somewhere around 300 to 400 students. I mean, we're still not even a big high school, not even a medium-sized high school. And out of that came, the Second World War came in, and then there were individuals that came back. But the big thing that came about too was the influence. We had Canadians and Americans by the tens of thousands came into Newfoundland, and their impact and what's possible and the thinking changed. So I'm from Joe Bat's. I can remember going with my brother to a pond, waiting for the aircraft to come in to pick him up, to take him to the university. And that would have been in the 60s. Education in our household was strong, but we were unique. There were no opportunities. But you know something? Once I say Canada joined on Newfoundland in '49, things changed. People started to learn and know, and access to education went to every little cove and tickle and arm in our province, and it became a thing to do. Educate yourself. We moved to the 60s and the 70s and went up to, the numbers started to grow. By mid-75, I think we're up around 10,000. Today, we're pushing 19,000 students, representing 127 countries in this institution. Some people ask me, well, why do you do what you do? is because I'm proud of Newfoundland and Labrador, and I'm proud of this institution, which to me is the most vital institution in this province. It teaches, it learns, it creates leaders and develops leaders. I am so enthusiastic about what's possible for the future of this university because we're going forward. There's so much strength and so much opportunity.
Well, the video game series Super Smash Bros. Has been around for over 25 years and is still popular in the gaming community to this day. Part of the appeal, players can choose from a wide range of well-known characters. And on the West Coast, players came together for their very own tournament.
Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm the tournament organizer of Smash at Grenfell. If you grew up in like the 80s or 90s, you played those like arcade, like Street Fighter games. It's basically a video game where you have Nintendo characters fighting against each other in like a platform stage. So they can like jump really high and they can like hit each other. So I only started picking up the game fairly recently. I only started playing in May of 2023. But we have people who are here that have been playing since like 2016. Yes! I think the reason why people stick to playing the Smash games is because of the characters. Like, people like seeing like Luigi and Yoshi and like Mario like fight some random characters like Sephiroth. And it's like, those characters shouldn't be fighting, but like, you know, it's just like a meld of like different genres just put into one like pot. And, you know, you just play as your favorite character. There's so many people here that, like, I can depend on. And, like, without this game, like, there'd be so many people that I count as my friends that I wouldn't even know. And I think there's something beautiful to that. The fact that we just meet up to play a video game, and now we get to, like, you know, hang out and be friends. Because, like, video games is, like, something that a lot of people discount as being, like, non-social. Like, you're in your room, like, oh, he's in his room playing video games. But like, this is a chance for people to get out and play the game and socialize, which is excellent.
My name is Cameron. I'm known within the Smash community as Shy. I've been playing Smash Bros. My whole life. This will be my 10th year of playing it competitively in Newfoundland. As a kid, it was just such a unique fighting game compared to anything else I'd ever played, while still maintaining the charm of those classic Nintendo games. As an adult now, it's a community, it's a group of people, it's like a vibe and a feeling that you get when you go there and play. I always say you come for the game, but you end up staying for the people. So throughout the game, whether how competitive you are or whatever, like, you will always end up coming back because of how great the people are. Anyone can play this game. Doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. We welcome everybody. We want this to be a space where everyone can come hang out and play and socialize. There's something online that you just can't replicate with the in-person game, the social aspect of it. That's the thing that keeps me coming back. It keeps me involved. The people are just, I met my best friends through the game. It's like the greatest people on earth.
Well, there are new questions about understaffing at Washington's Reagan International Airport after Wednesday's deadly collision between a passenger plane and a military helicopter. There are reports that one air traffic controller was juggling two jobs that night, one for helicopter traffic and another for planes. But federal aviation officials say that isn't against the rules.
DCA is a very busy airport. There's a lot going on, so you can have multiple different controllers in the cab. Sometimes they're doing one or two different functions. It's not unusual in the evening hours, depending upon the congestion and the traffic in the airspace.
Divers were back in the Potomac River today as efforts to recover the remaining victims and pieces of the aircraft continue. The plane's voice recorder and flight data recorder were recovered several hours after the crash. All 67 people on the plane and Black Hawk helicopter were killed. Helicopter traffic in the airport area has now been restricted indefinitely. And we have a correction to the story we brought you yesterday on that plane crash. CBC News incorrectly reported that among the 67 dead was the 23-year-old son of two Russian championship pair figure skaters. In fact, he flew on another flight and arrived safely at home, and we regret the error. And as you heard earlier in the show, it's now official. A trade war with the United States is about to begin. This afternoon, the White House press secretary said the U.S. will impose tariffs on Canadian goods in the next 24 hours.
Can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China.
Now, the press secretary said she did not know if any Canadian goods would be exempted from the U.S. tariffs, but details would be made public tomorrow. Later in the Oval Office, Trump said nothing can be done to stop the tariffs. He also says he'll impose a 10% tariff, reduced from 25% on Canadian oil and gas. And that's likely to take effect on February 18th. But Canadian officials are still making last-minute attempts in Washington and beyond to avoid the tariffs. They're also preparing to retaliate. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met with the Council on Canada-U.S. Relations and says government is ready to respond to any new duties with a forceful and immediate response.
Passion overrides fear on our jagged cliffs and banks of boulders. Watch Rock Climbing Rapture, Sunday at 11:30 and Monday at 7.
Well, here's a story that may make you smile. There's a baby in the historic Battery neighborhood of St. John's, and that's a pretty big deal because it hasn't happened in decades. CBC recently swung by the Battery to meet Mackenzie's proud parents, as well as the new baby on the block who's creating quite the stir.
The last generation of kids that were born out here were about 30 years ago. So a lot of the people that are out here right now are, they've been out here for a long, long time. Because it does have such a long history, a lot of the people living out here were here before there was running water, and the city used to just bring out gallons of water and stuff like that in trucks. And so having some new life out here is, I think, pretty exciting for everybody. And Jake has been using the stream as a source of white noise to get him to nap. He likes being outdoors, and so when he's being really fussy, Jake will take him in his arms and go down to the stream and sort of just like let the sound lull him to sleep. And down at the end of the driveway there is Piercy's twine shed, and they're often out hanging out. So there's just kind of like a group of retired guys who are very invested in everything that's going on. They're very, very sweet, and they often have gatherings out there, and so the whole neighborhood kind of tends to congregate right around this house just by coincidence.
It's great to see a baby here in at the Battery, right? All the older people here, and they love it. They love it. That's the whole talk out here. It's the new baby on the block, right? Yeah, it's the cutest baby that anybody's ever seen. He'd be over here to see Uncle Tony, and everybody be Uncle this and Aunt such and such, right? That's the future now. Oh yeah, that's why he's getting so much attention. Yeah.
People are thrilled for sure. A lot of love coming from all directions. It's kind of like there's like 50 grandparents around ready to, take care of this little guy.
And take care of us also. There's been a lot of kind of care shown to us, a lot of food that's been dropped off and that kind of thing. So it's been a sweet time to get to know the neighbors a lot better, and they're very invested.
Just the sense of there's people who know you and who are interested and invested in you and your well-being, just sort of looking out all around. It's pretty cool.
Well, from one generation to another, let's celebrate some more birthdays. Happy 95th birthday to Grace Chafe in the Goulds. Birthday wishes going out to Irene Party of Twillingate, now in Gander. She just turned 91. A very happy birthday to Joan House, who turns 91 today. Happy 90th birthday to Rhoda Payne of Parsons Pond, now in Bombay. Wishing Randolph Whiteway a happy 97th birthday on Sunday. He's from Bishop's Falls and now lives in St. John's. Wishing Charlie Pope a happy 95th birthday from all your family and friends. John Hart from St. John's is celebrating his 96th birthday. Birthday wishes going out to Estelle Way in Flowers Cove. Happy 90th birthday to Pauline Murin of St. John's. Wishing Bertha Mercer of Bay Roberts a special 104th birthday, love and best wishes from her family and many friends, and she is a survivor of the 1929 Burin tsunami. Well, happy 94th birthday to Ruby Phelan of St. John's, coming up this Sunday. Happy 91st birthday to Ethel Clark of St. George's. Now to some anniversaries. Happy 50th anniversary to James and Karen Gear of Happy Valley Goose Bay. Congratulations to Ernie and Ann Power from Point Amal. It's their 71st anniversary. Happy 61st anniversary to Jerry and Daphne Leonard of Corner Brook. Wishing Arthur and Leona Legros a happy 69th anniversary. Eileen and Onslow Avardi of Grand Falls, Windsor are celebrating 52 years together. Happy 51st anniversary to Annie and Francis McGraw of St. Bride's. Congratulations to Wavy and Ted Watkins from Cottlesville. They've been married for 57 years. Happy 60th anniversary to Jim and Marie Cotter of Melrose. Minnie and Les Wheeler of Grand Falls, Windsor are marking 60 years together. Happy 73rd anniversary to Gilbert and Joyce Late of Lewisport. Happy anniversary to Keith and Joyce Warford. Their 50th is tomorrow. Anniversary greetings going out to Scott and Josephine Rowe of Seldom, Fogo Island. They've been married for 56 years. Anniversary greetings going out to Dorman and Joy Elliott. They're also celebrating 56 years of marriage today, and it's also Dorman's 83rd birthday, so happy birthday too. Shirley and George Nichols of Deer Lake will celebrate their 63rd anniversary tomorrow with their new puppy, Eddie. Congratulations. Eddie is so cute.
So sweet.
And I have to say, my heart is still so warmed by that story about the baby in the battery. It's so nice to see the community come together like that. It's a great way to end the week.
It is.
You know?
Yes, it certainly is.
Especially with what's to come tomorrow
exactly.
with the tariffs and stuff. So lots of news coming, but that was a nice one.
It certainly was.
Yeah, heartwarming and a little bit of a warm up.
Yeah,
coming in the long range forecast, right?
Yep, by the time we get into next week for sure. But we got some cold temperatures to get through first. Let's take a look at what's going on out there for your Saturday evening and into Sunday. So we'll see potentially, some flurries or light snow for parts of the Avalon. That should end by the time we get into Sunday morning. But the snow squalls, let's say onshore flurries will linger for those of you on the west coast. That will continue through the day. More westerly winds towards the evening, so those snow squalls could develop again, especially along southern areas of the Burin Peninsula, potentially. Other than that, fairly quiet weather. We are looking at those temperatures staying into the minus single digits, so anywhere from -8 to -10 for the west coast, northern peninsula. Minus teens will be the story for you. Labrador, you're looking at your temperatures anywhere from -16 to -21 as your daytime highs on Sunday. Into Monday, again, a fairly quiet start to the day. Those onshore flurries or squalls will continue. And other than that, not a whole lot going on until we head into the evening hours, where we'll likely see some flurries or light snow, and then even more as we head towards the overnight period. But overall temperatures will be a little warmer, but still below zero by the time we get into Monday. Labrador starting to moderate a little bit. Minus teens will be the story for those of you in Lab West. Otherwise, same thing towards the coast with some sunshine through at least the first part of the day. But you will see some flurries move in as we head into the evening hours. So there is a warm-up. It'll come on Tuesday, it looks like at this point, with some showers or flurries and dropping again as we head into Wednesday, back down below zero at about -5 as your daytime high on Wednesday. And the overnight lows, though, will stay well below zero right across the board. And as far as central goes, you're looking at some flurries by the time we get into Tuesday. A warm up above zero for you as well, but not as dramatic, only about 1 degree. But the drop in temperatures through the overnight and into Wednesday, definitely much cooler, much more dramatic, around -9. And then for Western Newfoundland, basically just flurries again. You may see a little bit of a break there, but overall flurries the story for you. Eastern Labrador, temperatures into the minus teens and -20s by the time we get into Wednesday, but fairly quiet weather, just a few flurries in the mix. More snow possible for those of you in Western Labrador, both Monday and Tuesday, with your temperatures in the minus teens, but dropping back down to the -20s by the time we get into Wednesday. Our weather photo of the day taken in Torbay. Take a look at this photo.
Oh, fantastic.
Isn't that cute? This is Moira playing in the snow. Courtney shared this great shot with us. If you need weather photos, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Oh, Moira is having a really good time.
A great time.
All right. Well, I hope you have a great time this weekend. Of course, the news will not rest this weekend. Lots to follow as the U.S. promises to release the details of Trump's tariffs tomorrow. CBC News is going to have live, in-depth coverage all day long, including reaction from government and how this will play out for people in communities across the country. So that's tomorrow on CBC News Network. Thanks so much for watching.
Good night.